How's it going? Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everyone out there. Hope you guys were able to enjoy the holidays with your loved ones, family, friends, whoever you might have celebrated with. Hope you guys were able to enjoy the holidays, and hope everyone in your family and friends are safe and doing well. Of course, as you guys tell by the title below, this video will be about Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. I did watch this movie last night on Christmas Eve with my girlfriend, and of course, I am here to give you guys my thoughts on it. Won't be a full review of the film, won't be going over everything, but just pretty much discussing the things I liked, didn't like about it, and give you guys my thoughts on it. So there will be spoilers included, so if you've not seen the film, I would not recommend watching this video, but if you have, feel free to go continue watching it. So that is your spoiler warning, and without wasting any more time, go ahead and jump right into the video with my thoughts on Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. Right from the get-go, I did enjoy this film a lot more than The Last Jedi, and for those who do not know or did not watch my Last Jedi thoughts video, I did not like that episode at all. I did not enjoy it. I thought it was very stupid, and I just didn't think it was any good. And with The Rise of Skywalker, I definitely thought it was better. They almost completely kind of neglected everything that happened in Episode 8. Obviously, they couldn't ignore some things like Luke dying. Obviously, they couldn't ignore that. But for the most part, like the story premise, they kind of just ignored it. Like, you know, Rose, obviously, she was a big character in Episode 8. In Episode 9, she was pretty much non-existent. She was only on screen for maybe 10 minutes, if that. She was neglected from being one of the main characters in Episode 8 to being a background character that really had no importance in the film at all. So it just goes to show you how much they were trying to kind of erase Episode 8. So it kind of sucks. So even though I didn't enjoy it, I don't like things being ignored. I think it's kind of like a slap in the face to the fans, because it's kind of like saying, all right, this episode you put time into watching as well. Even though you didn't like it, guess what? Now it doesn't matter too. So it makes it even more pointless. So even though people don't like it, I still think you should at least acknowledge it. I just think that's kind of fair to the fans to keep it going. But that's just my personal opinion. Of course, the big selling in this film was the return of Emperor Palpatine. He does make his return, and honestly, I feel like they kind of handled his return pretty shitty. I felt it was very Game of Thrones-ish. Obviously, they brought him back from the dead. He had his whole fleet, kind of like the Night King and the Army of the Dead, and then his whole thing was that he wanted to give his throne to the rightful heir, which being in this film, his granddaughter, Rey Palpatine. Yes, Rey's identity is that she is a Palpatine. She is the daughter of Emperor Palpatine's son, which how he had a son is beyond me. It's very, very random. Palpatine's one of those characters you just don't see ever having kids, and the fact that he had a kid, obviously he had to be like a one-night stand bastard or something, because Palpatine being married, actually he might have been married, I don't remember, I don't think he ever was, but Palpatine having a son, just, I don't know, just, I wasn't a fan of that. I wasn't a fan of Rey being a Palpatine. I just feel like, you know, they built up her parents' identity for such a long, you know, that was one of the big stories of the new trilogy, obviously, was the identity of Rey, and I just feel like the way it's executed was kind of anticlimactic, and I don't know, I think a lot of people, including myself, I mean, at least I'm not gonna say a lot of people, I honestly thought, you know, Rey could have been Luke's daughter, but I don't know, just the way it was revealed, and, you know, Rey being a Palpatine, I just really wasn't a huge fan of it. Obviously, they implemented Rey being a Palpatine by hinting her going to the dark side. They had a scene where she kind of fought herself as you know, her on the dark side. She was kind of fighting her friends, like, you know, Finn tried to save her, and she like force blasted him out of the way so he wouldn't interfere. Even when she was dueling Kylo Ren, you know, Leia used the Force to distract Kylo. She just impaled Kylo with his own lightsaber, and that easily could have killed him, but Rey used the Force to heal him, that way he didn't die. So throughout the film, they were transitioning Rey to the dark side. There's definitely showing hints where with, you know, Kylo Ren, they were transitioning him back to Ben Solo. You know, right from the get-go, he was massacring people on Mustafar, which, awesome. I popped a t-shirt Mustafar being the opening scene. Revenge of the Sith is my favorite Star Wars film, so to see them go back to Mustafar was very awesome for me. But you see him, you know, killing people, then, you know, his eyes start opening more, especially once he sees Rey kind of transitioning to the dark side and his eyes become more clear. Han Solo comes back to kind of, you know, say like, hey man, you can do it. And they do a great callback to the scene where Kylo kills Han Solo, but instead of obviously stabbing Han Solo, he takes his lightsaber and throws it into the water. So I thought that was a great callback scene to, you know, kind of play off like, all right, this is what should have happened instead of what actually happened when, you know, Kylo killed Han Solo. So I thought that was great. Towards the end, you know, the big duel with Palpatine I thought was kind of underwhelming. Palpatine pretty much used his powers to take the Force from both Rey and Kylo, because together they had like this pretty much Force aura that was like, doesn't come very often. So Palpatine takes their powers, assumably kills Kylo, but he ends up coming back towards the end. Rey fights Palpatine with both Luke and Leia's lightsabers, which great cameo to see Luke come back as a ghost. I thought that was a great moment for him to come back in. Cool thing with Palpatine battling Rey was that when Rey was battling Palpatine, you had voices from former Jedi like Anakin. You heard Anakin, Mace Windu, Obi-Wan, just a bunch of plethora of former Jedis, give her advice to beat Palpatine because Palpatine said that he represents the Sith. All the Sith, and Rey was saying, well, since you represent all the Sith, I represent all the Jedi, and they all gathered behind her. I thought that was pretty awesome to do that, so that was great. And obviously they did a great callback where the Emperor died, or Palpatine died, because he's trying to electrocute her to death, but she was deflecting with the lightsaber, and it went right back to him. And for those of you who do not know what that referencing is, go back to episode 3. That's how Palpatine was dying in episode 3 before Anakin saved him from Mace Windu. I thought that was a great callback to have him die that way. I thought that made perfect sense. One thing I didn't like was at the end with Rey, she died, so she dies from that, killing Palpatine, and then Kylo brings her back with the Force, and then they kiss, and then Kylo dies and becomes one with the Force because he gave his Force life to Rey to save her. So I thought the way Kylo went out was kind of, I don't know, I think that was just such a cheesy way to go out, because this, well, him saving her wasn't cheesy, but like them embracing and kissing as if they were in love, I thought it was just kind of corny and definitely wasn't needed. And there was definitely some corny stuff, like General Hux, he ended up being a spy for the Resistance, and once he revealed that to Finn and Poe, I apologize. Finn and Poe were like, "What? You're the spy!" Like, they just flipped out. It was very, very corny. So there's definitely some corniness to it, but the jokes that are being told didn't feel forced, like in episode 8. There were some, organic, natural comedy that he kind of had in The Force Awakens. Even though at some points, like I said, they were more corny than anything else, but I thought they did a pretty good job overall. Wasn't a fan really of the ending though, with Rey burying Luke and Leia's lightsabers and then having her own and then embracing the Skywalker name. She closed the film out on Tatooine by saying that she's Rey Skywalker, that's her identity, so hence the name, The Rise of Skywalker. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about a technical non-Skywalker leading the Skywalker name, even though obviously Anakin has ties to Palpatine. He trained under Palpatine, under Vader. There's ties to Rey in the Skywalker name. Obviously, she was trained by Luke and Leia. I don't know. They made a point in the movie that you don't need to be blood to be family, so I guess it ties in with that as well. But I don't know, I just thought her taking the Skywalker name was just kind of corny. I just would have preferred her to be an actual Skywalker, not just inherit the name. So I don't know. The film wasn't perfect. It had its flaws. But, coming off of episode 8, I feel like they did the best they kind of could have done. They kind of had their hands tied and had to, still continue that story episode 8 did. So, taking that idea and going forward, I guess they did a pretty good job. If I had to rate it, I'd probably give it maybe a 7, maybe 7.5 out of 10 if I had to rate it. Like I said, it wasn't perfect, but it's definitely better than episode 8. But definitely better than episode 8, but I wouldn't say as good as episode 7. So it was a good finale. Not what I expected. I would have expected it to be different, but for what we got, I enjoyed it. It closed all the loose ends. It was a perfect closure, and it completed the chapter of Skywalker, so I can't complain. The film did exactly what it should have been, and that was to tie everything up and give an ending and closure to everything. So it did exactly that, so I can't complain too much about it. But overall, like I said, I thought it was good, and definitely was a good finale for the Skywalker saga. In terms of the future Star Wars, I don't know. Obviously, there'll be more movies. I know they're doing more series, like The Mandalorian. That's been great. Obi-Wan's getting his own show. So in terms of future Star Wars, I don't know. But in terms of the Skywalker story, I thought it was a good way to close it. And yeah, definitely was a good way to spend Christmas Eve. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, please feel free to like below. And like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed your Christmas and holidays. And see you guys next time.